U.S. is giving Egypt, Jordan, a lot of these Palestinian, neighboring countries, we're giving them tons of U.S. aid. So if we just tell them, listen, we're not going to give you anything unless you do this, do you see the Arab countries, do you see them capitulating?
No.
You're saying
because the king of Jordan and Egypt, they both have their own masters who feed them. And that master is China. You never hear about China. No one brings up the word China, the C word. You never hear it anywhere. Nobody talks about Chinese influence. China is very well aligned with the Muslim Brotherhood. China is in Iran. Chinese military bases all over Iran, at least 2 of them.
And Russia.
China has a defense agreement with Iran. China has advanced defense agreements and cooperation agreements with Jordan, with Egypt, not Jordan. They have basically chained most poor Arab countries with their debts. China has sway over the following governments: government of Lebanon under Hezbollah, government of Iran, fully, the Ayatollah regime is controlled by Iran. Governments of Jordan through a loan which King of Jordan took unnecessarily. Israel would give us the gas for dirt cheap money. He chose to build a whole power station by the Chinese with $8 billion debt, making us enslaved to China's banks for the rest of our lives. Same goes for Mr. Sisi of Egypt, who proved to be more pro-Chinese than Chinese Communist Party members themselves. China is very powerful, and this is where the stupidity plays a huge role about this. There was a lot of so-called think tanks in the United States warning you about the Muslims and Islam, and they were entertaining. People would see like how Muslims want to kill Jews, how you see a 6-year-old vowing to kill Jews. It's entertaining. Like, oh my God, those Muslims are awful. In reality, the real enemy was not the Muslims, because the Muslims, even if every single Muslim wanted to kill Jews, they cannot inflict the pain and the disasters which other real enemies can inflict. At the moment, the United States and Israel, they have real enemies. The real enemy has fangs, has teeth, armed to the teeth, has nuclear weapons, has stealth fighters, you name it. That enemy with the big claws is called China, and it's all over Israel, and it's around Israel. It surrounds you in Jordan, in Egypt, in Lebanon, and until recently in Syria. Until recently. The Islamist regime taking over Syria now, that took over Syria, is bad, but at least it's not under China, so it could be dealt with one way or another. What does this mean? This whole lecture about China means Jordan King will never give in, and I think he will eventually have to go and be replaced. And it's more dangerous with Egypt. Let me mark my words, please. There will be a military confrontation eventually between Israel and Egypt in Sinai, through which the Egyptians are going to get their tochases kicked out of Sinai, which will be a hugely embarrassing defeat for the Egyptian army. The Egyptian army has been ruling Egypt since 1952. Losing Sinai again will result in the collapse of the pro-China, Chinese-controlled Egyptian military regime in Egypt. Maybe that was a mouthful and much to absorb, but we're witnessing change in Egypt when we're witnessing the end of the military grip on the Egyptian regime, Egyptian system. Therefore, we're looking at major changes. The war between Egypt and Israel is coming in the foreseen future. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens while Trump is still in office.